Yeah, thanks indeed, Lindsay. It's exactly that. The Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Motsoaledi, with me. You may be a very happy minister this afternoon, and I'll tell you why. You've got a sizable amount of money to deal with borders in the country. How does that make you feel, and what do you do with it?
Oh yes, I'm extremely ecstatic. You might be aware, Diven, that we have been talking about a concept called one-stop border post, which means the massive improvement, especially in infrastructure, of the 6 busiest ports of entry, land ports of entry, our border post. That's going to facilitate the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. It's going to make it easier for us to detect lots of wrong things like drug smuggling, cross-border crimes, stealing of cars, human trafficking. That is all going to be made possible by this massive injection of improvement of infrastructure.
Can I ask how, Minister? Because very often people would say you've got the money, but the borders need severe attention. How do you utilize that to ensure these wrong things that you speak about don't happen?
Maybe you haven't seen some of our borders, like Beit Bridge border post. It's a gateway through the whole of Africa, but when you arrive there, you'll think it's a small roadblock, small gates. That is going to expand the area there to make it easier for trade, especially the trucking company, etc. But what's more important, the massive infrastructure is going to include modern technology. That's how, modern technology. For instance, if you go to Beit Bridge, you have got to struggle to know what is inside the truck. With the modern technology, any truck that goes through will have not X-ray. X-rays is actually outdated. Will have much more sophisticated equipment than X-ray equipment to see inside whether there are, cigarettes there, whether it's liquor, even cash, whether something is being smuggled and all that. You are going to see all those, and it will make it impossible for the people who get bribed. I'm sure you're aware that in Home Affairs at the borders, there's a lot of bribery. We can't hide that. We can't run away from it. We know it's happening. But it's also facilitated by the fact that we have got very poor infrastructure. It made it easy for people to get bribed and do corruption.
I've got a few seconds left, and I want to ask you, coming on the back of SONA, where we heard digitization plans for the Home Affairs, that's going to bring a smile to many people's faces, if indeed it happens within a comfortable time and as soon as possible.
It's going to happen. I was just waiting for this budget speech before a press conference to outline how it's going to happen. In May, we want those people to be on the job, to digitize. 2 big gains on that one: employment for the young unemployed people, but for you and me, ordinary citizens, massive efficiencies in the banks, at SASA, when you want to change your surname, when you want to look at who your ancestors were married to and what you stand to inherit and land claims and all that, they are going to be all on the fingerprints. Because at the moment it takes us 6. Remember, we are talking here of 300 million records. Files of South Africans who were born, married, who died, etc. And they stretch back to 1897. And all of them, you must go there and search manually.
How long before we get that?
Information. Sorry?
How long before we get that? Very quickly.
Well, we're starting in May, the employment. That means the first people on the job, but it's going to be over 2 to 3 years, depending on what we're finally given.
Minister of Home Affairs, Aaron Motsoaledi, thanks very much indeed.